Okay, so I'm going to go through a practice quiz here. Uh, so again, your quiz will look like this. There's no excuse for anybody not wanting an A to earn an A. It's up to you whether you choose to memorize the material or not. Nobody can stop you but yourself. All right, what degree of rotation is the following? So first off is tell me its rotation. So our rotations that we have, these are about the origin, 90, 180, 270. Okay, those are your only three options. Or you can say, instead of 270, you can say 90 degrees clockwise and 90 degrees counterclockwise, if you want to say that, because that's how it's going to be stated uh, on the DCAS. So I plot the point 3, 4. 3, 4 is approximately somewhere in there. Now it says A prime is negative 4, 3. Negative 4, 3. Something like in there. Okay. Well, first off, I'm going from here, from quadrant 1 to quadrant 2, counterclockwise. That's positive. So rotation 90 degrees. I could also check by taking a ruler, connecting it to the origin, because that's what it's rotating about, and going from the origin out to its image point, and I'd be able to see that this was 90 degrees. Another easy way. You can do this on the DCAS as well. So there is no excuse for anybody missing this when they give some type of situation like this. Okay. Let's go ahead and get rid of all that now. Come on. All right, number 2. It says find the preimage P. Notice they're giving you the P, the image of P double prime. So there's been two things that have happened to get to 1, negative 2. We want to go backwards. Sometimes I have to go backwards. When we did something in the worksheet before, you start going backwards. You start here and then go to there and go backwards, which would be a +4 and a -2, going backwards on that one. But first, I have to reflect it over line y equals 3. Now, that means, so if I just did a quick plot over here, or you could use this graph right here, it doesn't matter. We'll go ahead and use that one because I don't really need that one for this one anyway. On all these graphs, you don't technically have to graph on the graph itself. You're putting all your answers in the blanks. Okay. If you know the rules, write down the rule to it. Okay. The graph part would just be for you to test your answer, see if your answer makes sense. Like I did in number 1 when I plotted and saw that it was 90 degrees, went to the origin and went out from there. All right, so y equals 3. Some of you still don't know 1, 2, 3 from pre-algebra. In algebra 1, that y equals 3 is a horizontal line. Okay, I plot 1, negative 2. 1, negative 2 is right there. How far is that? I'm going up 5. I'm going to have to go up 5 from here. So plus 5 puts it at 8. So 1, 8 is what I get when I reflect over line y equals 3. So that is P prime. Now to go backwards from here, it's a translation. Remember, for translation, you just do the opposite. And so the opposite of -4 is +4 on the x, and the opposite of +2 is -2 on the y. And so 1 + 4 is 5, and 8 - 2 is 6. Very simple. Okay, now if I want to check that, I could start at 5, 6, and do what it says right here, going forwards in that order. So if I do -4, so that means -4, let's change the color, -4 and +2, that takes me to 1 + 2, I meant 1, 8. And then I go from 1, 8 right there and reflect over line y equals 3, and that puts me right down here at 1, negative 2, which guarantees I have it right. So after you get your answer, you can just go forwards and check to see that it comes out to the right point. Okay, image point there. All right, number 4, rotation of -270. Remember, that'd be -90, 180, 270 right there, which is the same thing. So that's -270. And that'd be the same thing as going +90. So that's the same thing as rotation of 90 degrees. Okay, so if I'm doing a rotation of 90 degrees, I know I'm As I've shown you in the videos, I told you I don't memorize them. I just do the two reflections, reflect over the x-axis. So any xy going over the x-axis becomes x negative y. And then you're reflecting over the line y equals x. Whenever you go over the line y equals x, you are switching these two. So rotation of 90 degrees is negative yx. It's been in the videos. Okay. To me, it's much easier to do that than just memorize negative yx. But if that's what you want to do, negative yx right away, you can do that. By understanding what's happening, you're understanding it's being reflected over two intersecting lines. Remember, that's the definition of rotation. Two reflections over intersecting lines. There's my two intersecting lines. Okay, so I'm actually doing it. All right, so now you go ahead and just apply that rule. Again, you don't have to graph any of it. You can just apply the rule. There's my xy, and it becomes negative y, so it's negative 6, comma, x is 2. Very simple. Number 3, we have 2. Some of you, again, didn't remember what that means because you were just copying off your assignments off somebody else who had done it. That means following. So that means I do the right first. Again, all this is explained in the videos. And I even wrote first for you and second for you in the videos. But again, there's several of you not watching the videos. So just so you know, from now on, I'm going to have you take out your video notes at the beginning of class and give you a grade for them. So those that have been doing them, now they're going to get a free grade for it because they've already been doing what they're supposed to be doing. While the rest of you who haven't been doing what you are supposed to be doing are now going to get penalized if you don't start doing it. So you can get a 0 on it. You come to class without it done. Okay, because you've been lazy. All right. So what is my rule? Notice this is rules. There's 2 of them. You don't put down 1, didn't say rule, singular. There's a rule right there, and there's a rule right there. I'm going to have 2 down. I write this one down first because that's the first one I'm going to do. So that rule is negative x, negative y. And I can say then, and what's the rule for y equals over line y equals x? We just said it, y comma x. Just switch the x and the y coordinates. So that's exactly what I should write. Okay. I don't give you enough space to put the x comma y first and then the maps onto. So I'm not concerned with you doing that here. You just put down the last part of it. Okay, if it actually asks for a rule, you normally put this out here first, but I don't give you enough room for that. So just put the right side. Okay, so now do it. A prime, follow directions. This first, negative x, negative y. That becomes negative 2 comma 7. A double prime, what's the rule say? Switch them. 7, negative 2. That's simple. And fill it in the spot that it's supposed to go. Right there, 7, negative 2. So again, you don't have to graph it. You can graph it, if you want to, and see that you're doing them right and it makes sense. But ultimately, it's this answer I'm looking for right here. All right, number 5. Again, we've got 2 rules. Notice this time, I don't ask for the rules. I ask you to give me the points at each of those spots. So I reflect over the y-axis, that switches the x-coordinate, takes the opposite of that. Well, that stays the same in this case, so it's still 0, 4, I meant. And now, to reflect over line y equals x, I just switch them. So 4, 0. Okay. Very simple. Each one of those would be 2 points, since every problem is worth 4 points. Okay. Number 6. If the point A equals negative 3, 0, what is A prime on a rotation of 180 degrees? So 6A is the answer. So remember, rotation, write down the rule. 180 degrees is negative x, negative y. That's reflection over the x-axis and then the y-axis, or vice versa. Remember, because rotation and reflection over intersecting lines. So I do that, and I get 3 comma 0. Okay, now write the rule. Oh, so the rule goes right here. I put it off to the side. I could have just written it right in here to begin with. Okay, 2 points each. All right, number 7. What's the image of this point if it's reflected over the line y equals x? Well, again, you got another rule that becomes yx. So I just switch them. So it's 3r, comma, negative 1z. Would be my answer. Number 8, translation maps the origin to the point. So I'm going from a 0, 0 to that point. How do I get there? X, y from the origin. How do I get to negative 4, 4? I go left 4 and I go up 4. So there's my rule. Now, what is the image of this point under that same translation rule? Under this rule, I just had to find out on my own from the origin to there. Now I apply that to negative 6 and 8. So what do I get? Negative 10, comma 12 is my point. Should be very simple. Okay. You're going to see probably a couple of these on the DCAS as well. Obviously, see them on your test too, some of these. But you'll see these types on the DCAS. Okay. You got to know this. Major on the DCAS. Number 9. Find the image point 65 on the composition of translations. So it tells you both these are translations. So that's what T stands for, translation. So this is just another way of writing. Remember, this is how the DCAS. Do I have a translation rule written here? Here we go. This is, see, translation. This is how the DCAS wants to see their translation rules written. Okay, not long way like that. But this is the function notation way, much quicker and simpler. But they don't put that on the DCAS in that form. Okay, so it's just one translation after the other. So I can just add those together. So it's really a translation of negative 8 in the x, and 1 plus 2 is 3 in the y. Okay, so now I just do that. Negative 8 and plus 3. So what is that? Negative 8 plus 6 is negative 2, and 5 plus 3 is 8. Very simple. And lastly, what are the coordinates of the image 0, negative 3 under the transformation of, first, that translation. So I add 4 and subtract 3. Okay, so that gives me 4, negative 6. And then reflect that over the y-axis, which switches the x-coordinate to negative 4, negative 6. Okay. And if you weren't sure, you could just take a point there, reflect over the y-axis, it becomes right there. So that 1, 2 becomes negative 1, 2. And I can easily see the only thing that switched as the x took the opposite sign. The y stayed the same. And that's what I applied right there to that in order to get that answer. All right, that explains the whole practice quiz.